Welcome to Fatigued But Not Forgotten. Once again, we're rival writers in a stalled elevator with you, a group of high-powered producers. We have 15 minutes before the elevator is repaired, and one of us is going to pitch you a movie, a long-needed sequel, prequel, remake, reboot, or remakequel to a movie that never got one. And the other guy has a vested interest in shooting it down because, we're rivals.
Your pitch is going to be too wild for the MLB.
This is Fatigued But Not Forgotten. My name is Matt Reifschneider, and I am joined by my friend and co-host, Sean Caylor. How you doing today, Sean?
Quite well. Super happy to be surviving 2020.
So far, so good, right? I mean, we are only June, so we're not even quite halfway through. So we've still got a lot of time. I'm sure though. I'm sure I'm going to do my best to only kill, any ideas you throw at me or kill you trying to kill my idea tonight. That's my goal for this evening. That's it. So, so there we go. That's me tonight for Fatigued But Not Forgotten. I am going to be pitching a movie to you guys out there, and I'm going to be pitching a franchise to you for a movie, and just a little hint at what this is going to be. I'm going to tell you guys in a minute, but it's a movie that nobody remembers. So I'm very excited to talk about it. Now that once I say it, you guys will be like, oh yeah, that was a film. So, and we're going to talk a little bit about it there. But I do want to throw out there that this does come with a spoiler warning for all of you out there, that I am definitely going to go into spoiler territory on this one to pitch this franchise for this film. So if you have not seen the film, once I announce it, please just pause the podcast, get a chance, go watch it. You can pick it up for pretty cheap on home video, and then replay this episode. And I'm happy to pitch this idea to you. That way you can vote appropriately for me and this franchise. So yeah. So, if you guys need the few minutes, because this movie we're going to be talking about, you're going to have a little bit of foresight into how things are going to play out. And that's why you can pause this episode. So I don't know. Are you excited? Are you excited, Sean? I'm going to pitch the shit out of this.
I'm excited. I'm curious. I'm definitely curious. You seem very sure of yourself on this one.
I am, and which is such a false assurity. I'm just going to admit it.
We just made the call to the repairman, which means your time starts now.
Dear producers, you know what? I only got 15 minutes here, so I'm gonna make this quick. I got a few minutes just to sell this on you. Do you guys remember back in 2003 when John Woo was still doing Hollywood films, and he decided to make a film with Ben Affleck and Uma Thurman, and he called that film Paycheck? And this movie is fantastic. Now, okay, maybe it's not fantastic. Here, I know you guys don't remember this movie. I barely remember this movie. It's a kind of an easy one for me to love, though. I love John Woo. But let's talk about Paycheck real quick. It's a movie where Ben Affleck plays a gentleman who reverse engineers technology for rival companies, and in the process of doing so is hired on for a very long project, 3 years, in which he invents a machine that is able to look into the future, and he sees how he's going to create the end of the world. So he passes himself a lot of gadgets to be able to puzzle solve what he saw in the future to prevent it happening. And in the aspect, evades corporate espionage and things like that. It's a fun little action film. My pitch for a sequel, though, is we make it same time period in the future. So, however long, 17 years into the future, you have Ben Affleck, you bring him and Uma Thurman back. And what you find is that suddenly he starts receiving new trinkets again from somebody who also knows about the future. And it's going to be him trying to figure out if somebody else was able to see into the future to prevent something else that he was not able to see. And then he has to piece everything together. We have the giant rival company comes back into play. Obviously, Aaron Eckhart died in the original one as the big rival head boss man. And then you have Ben Affleck and Uma Thurman once again have to team up to solve the problem and uncover that the person in the future is actually from the past before he creates the machine that sees into the future. So we're going to literally double over, and then we're able to do kind of like what Avengers did, where you get to replay scenes from the original one and have a new old Ben Affleck kicking ass and actually setting up more stuff in the past for his in the past self to be able to beat the future. I know it sounds crazy, right? But the key here is, like the original one, is not to think too hard about the plot as much as think about the style and think about how much fun you can have with it. You get yourself an up-and-coming stylish action director. I'm a big fan of Jesse V. Johnson. I feel like somebody like him would be able to do this justice, particularly in the action sequences. You get yourself maybe a younger name star to be in it, either as the rival or maybe as the time traveler that is coming from the future into the super past to influence the 2003 version. I think it would be a fun way to deal with time travel in a dumb way. I'm not looking for smart here. I just think that we can bring this movie back and be able to really look at the layering that was happening in Paycheck and just make it even more fun and more outlandish. That's my goal with Paycheck 2. And I think that even though a lot of people don't remember it, don't even have to call it Paycheck 2, call it something else so that people think it's a brand new movie and surprise sequel to Paycheck. Also, John Woo fucking rules. Okay? That's all I got to say. That's all I got. You can have my last 5 seconds. Have it.
Okay, so okay, you're right. That's most certainly a movie that no one remembers. Allow me to retort. Okay, so the first thing I definitely need to lead this off with is, you know who we definitely want handling a modern action movie featuring a star and a presumably digitally youthed other version of himself? John Woo, because that worked out really well with him last year in Gemini Man. Just so good. That's point one. This is 4 minutes of pain, brother. 2. So we're talking Paycheck back to the past to fight against the future. So the thing with Paycheck is, despite being kind of a silly, frivolous action movie, as it was also based on a Philip K. Dick novel, I believe by the same name. And much like many properties based on Philip K. Dick novels, it's just nigh impossible to really follow up on his material. He was an exceptionally esoteric, out there author. Now, I don't believe, of course, that this should preclude making any effort. Matter of fact, maybe someday we will hear me make some sort of a pitch for next, because I do seem to have a love for trashy movies. However, it doesn't change the fact that of all the ones, Paycheck, and you're not even playing the game where you're doing a theoretical in-time sequel. You're doing like a modern sequel to Paycheck. So you've got Ben Affleck, who's pretty much just given up at this point, if you will. Uma Thurman, who is frankly always amazing. You're not going to hear me say an ill word about that. She's a wonderful actress. Losing Aaron Eckhart's a problem. He was actually one of the strengths of the first one. The thing is, I think even if I were inclined to, accept the idea of a sequel to Paycheck, which, let's also forget, was just a huge abject failure in the box office and part of Ben Affleck's long string of turds for a hot minute there. Even setting all of that aside, I mean, you're pitching this like people just don't remember, like it's a lost classic. No, this movie was eviscerated at its time. And on top of that, though, and even setting those facts aside, it's a mystery noir story, and it's really, really hard to follow up on a mystery noir story with the same mystery. I do think maybe there might be something in the idea of a younger Affleck, and I will say the one point of your pitch that did make me go, is the idea that it's actually him in the past looking forward. Okay, that's complicated. But also, when you start getting that confusing and complicated with time travel, you got people watching it like it's Primer, where you're pitching this kind of mindless action movie and you're still going to have people charting and diagramming everything that's wrong with every part of it. So, I've only got 5 seconds left, and that's really all I have to say right now. Anyway, boom. Okay.
All right. So okay. I know you made a comparison to Gemini Man, but for the record, John Woo did not direct Gemini Man. That was Ang Lee. So this is not on John Woo. That is not on John Woo. That is on Ang Lee. You cannot be confusing those people.
You're right. Oh, no.
I know. Just saying. Just saying. And also, like, are you seriously going to tell me that I can't pitch on Paycheck and you're going to pitch on Next?
Open to a sequel. Yeesh.
I mean, it might actually be a sequel. I haven't seen Next in a long time. It could very well be like the greatest double watch of all time. But come on, Next.
Oh, I do completely accept the slap in the face of forgetting that it was Ang Lee that directed Gemini Man, though. I don't know why it was John Woo in my head, but you're totally right. It's Ang Lee and his current weird 60 frame per second obsession.
Yes. Who's like, look at all this modern technology, and then we're gonna make a 90s action movie with it.
Although I still stand behind the point of having someone act against their younger selves. Anyway, by all means, feel
what is that not what I fucking pitched for Paycheck 2?
It is. All right, go ahead and feel free to roll that into your final argument. Go.
Okay, so my final argument for this is that you really can have a movie here that is a lot of fun. It's a little bit of a throwback. You don't even have to put a lot of money into this movie if need be. You can just reuse footage of the original one and just re-manipulate it in a way that would make it creative. But I think if you just get enough talent behind it, bringing back Affleck and Uma Thurman, a director that gives a shit about an action movie and just wants to have fun, and if you put in somebody that's interesting in the villain role, I'll just throw it out there. Maybe, Oscar Isaacs would be a great villain role for something like this. I think that might be something fun to be able to do. I really do think that there is potential for this movie. Now, is it going to be a blockbuster? No, but the movie does have a 6.3 on IMDb. It's not like fans inherently just hate this movie. It's just that it's kind of forgotten. And I think if you pull out the damn shovels and you start digging up the corpse of this film, then maybe we can reanimate it and have something more fun to play with here. So all I'm saying, producers out there, hear me out. I'm going to write you a treatment for this script, and we'll see how you feel about it. I do think that there's a lot of potential here, and let's be honest, nostalgia kills right now. And 90s nostalgia is only garnering a comeback. 90s and early aughts nostalgia. So there we go. That's my final words on my sequel to Paycheck, which maybe we should call it Check Pay, because it's going backwards.
I'm gonna use your last 10 seconds to pitch an even better.
Okay. What was that?
Cashed.
Oh, that's way better. Yes.
I did.
Thank you for adding that on to my pitch. See, I think they're probably all voting yes right now. They're just mashing yes buttons right now because of your cashed title.
Oh Lord, maybe we should invent a hashtag for them to vote for us.
Yeah. Cash. Hashtag cashed. Hashtag cashed for 1 vote.
All right. So my last 2 minutes to convince them your plan is pure madness. All right. For one, I'm going to start off by saying, not even fair bringing in my absolute man crush, Oscar Isaac. That is Dirty Pool, my friend.
I knew it.
That dude could turn any movie into sheer perfection. Those smoldering eyes. Anyway, I'm not wasting more than 30 seconds talking about Oscar Isaac. 2, now at this point, using a whole bunch of footage for the first movie, yes, that is absolutely a time-saving technique, honored by many classics like everyone's favorite Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. But at the same time,
fuck off. Compared to Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
At the same time, like we bring in Robert Zemeckis in for it. It's not the same kind of thing if you don't have someone deft enough to write around something like that. And I really wanted to nail that I knew at least one director movie association that I'm trying to make today. But on top of that, and really the point I think we're going to hamstring you on is, okay, maybe its IMDb was, or maybe its rating was higher than I would have expected. I should have spent some of my downtime to check the Rotten Tomatoes to really kick this down. But nonetheless, even if it's slightly fondly remembered, it doesn't change the fact that it's slightly fondly remembered as a kind of tech-noir thriller in that weird era where everyone was starting to hate Ben Affleck, you know, right after Ranger Games and Daredevil and his weird cameo in Elektra. Like, I'm just saying, resurrecting a movie nobody wants from an actor people just want to see make crime dramas about Boston, that's my time.
Hey, Ben Affleck found the way back. He found the way back.
Well, do you find folks agree with Matt? Or do you agree with me? Did he find his way back? Or does this movie need to be shot down? I feel like Matt's about to start rolling again, so...
See, I think this guy, I have 2 thumbs, this guy, Matt, deserves a paycheck for this. I certainly do believe that. Sign on it. Sign on this paycheck. Let's just seal the deal now. Let's make us a sequel. I mean, potential franchise. That's all I'm saying. That's all you need to know.
All right. Well, thank you all very, very much for listening to his inane pitch.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe to No Franchise Fatigue, and all of our various sub pods. I think I like the term sub pods. Check us out.
I've taken 2 segments.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's much better. I don't know. Sub pod sounds more sci-fi-y. So
that's true. Fits your paycheck theme a lot better.
See, exactly.
You're pitching a paycheck too, and you're giving me shit for freaking Wild Wild West.
I love it. And speaking of which, definitely go check out our earlier episodes of Fatigued But Not Forgotten. We have some fun ones out there already, including one on Wild Wild West, which I think was the perfect setup for this entire series of segments, because like I think we're just going to reference how like that is like the bar that set everything up was Wild Wild West to Wickedy Wild. So thanks guys for listening. Definitely check out the rest of our shows. We obviously have the Mothership, No Franchise Fatigue, which is once a month. We also have Good, Bad, Weird, Wild, which is once a month, and then Fatigued But Not Forgotten, which is 2 times a month, every Monday. Check it out. Definitely rate, review, subscribe. Definitely share with your friends. I mean, what's more fun than sharing your love of the movie Paycheck? So,
and you can reach us on all the social medias. So we're on the Twitter at
NFFpod. And then we're also on Facebook at facebook.com/nofranchisefatigue. You can also reach us. You can hit me up on Twitter at @themoviemat. You can also hit Sean up at his handy dandy email. It's probably the best place to vote, but we're happy to count votes wherever.
Yep, and that would be nffpod.sean, SEAN, @gmail.com. My name is, of course, as always, a 4-letter word.
Yes, thanks so much for listening, guys. We will talk to you soon. Stay tuned for next week as we look at our next episode. See you next Monday. And don't forget, everybody, please don't forget, go ahead, just tweet me, #cashed, and so that way we can get that trending. Thank you so much.
Oh, man.